You don't need to start a website, make a pretty logo, or even figure out a business name. All your goal is in the next 24 hours is to get out there, start talking to people so you can lock in your first student. In this video, we're going to get rid of all the fluff and we're going to focus on exactly what you need to do. I'm going to give you some very tactical advice so that you can get out there and secure your first student in less than potentially 24 hours. Hey, my name is Lisa. I am a tutor coach. I started my tutoring business when I was 18. I eventually quit my pharmacy career to move into tutoring full time. And beyond my wildest dreams, I could have never imagined that I would eventually have grown that business to have over 35 tutors on my team. We looked after thousands of students privately, and I eventually sold that business last year. So now I'm here to help tutors just like yourself get started in your tutoring businesses without all the pain, hassles, and mistakes that I made. And if you have followed me for a little while, then you'll know that I have just moved from Melbourne all the way to London. So you can see that this is a different backdrop. And I am going to do a live update for you on this YouTube channel very, very shortly, talking about what it's been like having the ability to move overseas with my own business, being a digital nomad, and just experiencing more of life, traveling more, meeting new people, and having a lot of fun along the way. But for now, let's talk about how we're going to get your tutoring business started within the next 24 hours. What I want you to do is I want you to start talking about your business to 10 people today. No excuses. We're going to leverage word of mouth marketing. And if we take a 10% conversion rate out of 10 people, that means one person is potentially going to convert and turn into your student very shortly. Now, I know that in your head, there may be some objections that are coming up. Oh, Lisa, I've already talked to people. Oh, but Lisa, I'm too embarrassed to talk about my business. Oh, but Lisa, I just don't want to feel judged by my family and friends. I know they're going to judge me. If that is you, I'm going to handle your objections later on in this video. For now, I want to talk about the power of word of mouth and why it is the easiest, the fastest, and the most effective way for you to get your first student. Oh, I also might add that speaking about objections, I actually have a how to handle pricing objections lead magnet for you all. So if you would like to download that, go ahead and do so because that's going to help you deal with any pricing objections that you're going to get from people inevitably once you start talking and advertising your business. So we're going to touch more about pricing objections later in this video, but let's go back to why word of mouth is so powerful and why I'm such a big advocate of it and why so many of my students have gone ahead and bought into the idea of word of mouth and therefore have gotten really successful results of not only just getting their first client, not only just getting their next paid clients, but also getting fully booked out as a result of this one marketing method. So when we talk about word of mouth, this is essentially just you talking about your business to other people or other people talking about your business to others. So word of mouth is so powerful because 92% of consumers actually trust the opinions of friends and family over any other form of advertising. So if you're thinking of doing social media or paid ads or building a website, you're actually forgoing this natural inherent ability of marketing that's going to lead to higher conversions when you lean into leveraging friends and family. So think about the last time you asked for a book recommendation, or you wanted a restaurant recommendation, or maybe even you wanted a new accountant recommendation. Who or where did you go to actually get that advice? Most likely, you may have done some research online and you might have looked at some Google reviews, but you probably would have also asked around your friends and family to see if there were any books, restaurants, or accountants that they actually recommend. And when you think about it, yes, you might go online and you might do your research, but ultimately when you listen to your family and friends, you get to hear more about their real life experience. And so you naturally are more inclined to trust them and to believe in them. And in more occasions than not, people actually lean into their friends and family's recommendations over something that somebody has said online. And the beautiful thing about word of mouth marketing is that it's easy, it's simple, and it's quick. So, how is it actually easy? It's easy in the sense that you can literally walk next door, go start talking to your family about it, or you can grab your phone and call somebody up or even just message somebody about your tutoring services. And that is in comparison to, say, for example, you going down the very deep, dark rabbit hole of setting up a website, which could take you literally days, months, years even. People just get really hung up on perfecting a website, whereas in that entire time, you could have started your tutoring business in 24 hours using word of mouth. The other thing is that it's simple. You already know how to talk to your family and friends, and that in itself is already leverage. As opposed to, say, for example, if you want to start on social media, if you've never written copy, if you've never filmed yourself on video, if you've never created graphics, then that's going to be a whole new skill set that you're going to need to learn. Now, are we saying that when it comes to word of mouth, you're not going to need to learn any new skill set? No, you're still going to need to learn how to market yourself, how to sell yourself, how to talk to people about pricing objections, which we mentioned earlier on before. But the case of the matter is that you're already one step ahead. You're putting your best foot forward because this is already a skill that you somewhat have. And the third powerful reason why you want to choose word of mouth is because it is quick. So when you get out there and you start talking to people today, literally right after this video, you're going to get feedback straight away. You're going to have your family go, wow, oh, you're wanting to offer tutoring. Okay, amazing. Let me go and talk to my friends and family about it, who are also your family. But anyways, or when you message somebody, they're probably going to respond to you over the next 24 hours or so in most cases. And immediately you've planted the seed and you've spread word of mouth that you have a tutoring business. And now people are going to start working with you. People will either say, oh, great, you're doing a tutoring business. I actually am looking for tutoring. Or they might not be looking for tutoring right now, but they might say, you know what, I actually overheard somebody the other day at work whose child needs tutoring services. So let me speak to them. Or they might say, oh, I'm not interested right now. And, I'm not sure if anyone would be interested, but why don't I just post a social media post for you and just see what happens? So the effectiveness here is that rather than squirreling away behind your laptop for hours on end trying to figure out what makes a beautiful logo or how to set up your social media and, oh, how do I do the link in bio and, oh, how do I do the whole posting thing? God dang it. I can't seem to overlay these images properly together and, but it just doesn't look right. And you just keep going and going. And same thing with the website. You start the website and then you go, oh no, actually, I need to pay for a domain name. Oh, what? I need to pay for hosting? Wait, hang on a minute. I also need to find a template and then figure out what words to put on the page and then what font and then what colors. It just goes on and on. Instead of all of that fluff and all of that crap, let's get rid of it and let's get out there so that you can get immediate validation and feedback on your business today. And I might just add as a bonus as to a fourth reason why word of mouth is so effective and so powerful is because it's free. You don't have to pay any money to make this happen. And as somebody who's probably just starting out in your tutoring business, you probably don't have the funds to invest in your tutoring business. But word of mouth is literally, can you just walk next door and talk to your family? It's, do you have a phone so that you can message people? If you don't have a phone, do you have the internet? Could you go to a local library and could you use their internet and start connecting with your friends on social media? Or even giving them a call through Facebook or WhatsApp or Instagram. There are ways about this which make it just so effective for any tutor who's just starting out. So now let's talk about immediate validation and why it is so important for you when you start your tutoring business. So a lot of people fall into the trap of feeling like they're actually productive and they're starting a business when they're actually in reality procrastinating. So an example of this is someone who says to themselves, I think I want to tutor maths, but I haven't been in school for over a decade now. I've been an engineer and I do maths in my everyday work, but it's been quite a while since I've done high school maths, and that's what I want to teach because I remember I really enjoyed it and I'd love to impact others. But then you go down this rabbit hole of, oh, but it's been so long. I feel like, what if the syllabus has changed? Maybe I should actually look up the syllabus and actually revise the entire year's worth of content before I actually go out there and before I actually start advertising my tutoring services. Oh, and you know what? Maybe while I do that, maybe so that I can be more effective with my time, I might actually study the curriculum and also create lesson plans as well. Hells yeah, that's so productive of me. No, that is not productive of you. And let me tell you why. Because what you want to do is you want to get out into the real world as soon as possible to question whether or not your idea of starting your tutoring business is valid. Is there a market out there who's going to pay you for your maths tutoring services? And the sooner you can get that real life data, the sooner you can get feedback from people in the real world who say, yes, I know somebody who's looking for maths tutoring, or actually I'm not interested in maths, but do you teach SATs? And then suddenly you're hearing all this information about SATs and people looking for that. You might actually pivot and go, well, I did SATs. You know what? I might actually go into this because there seems like there's more demand in there. So think about these two people, the one person who's squirreling away behind their laptop for hours on end, building up their curriculum knowledge, they're building up their lesson plans, and then only then they go out months later to test the market, and then they end up getting the same result of, oh, people are actually really looking for maths, they're looking for SAT help. I feel like I should do that. Compare that to the person who's going to do that right now, today, after this video, within 24 hours, and who gets out there, questions the market, tests, validates, collects data, and goes, well, I've actually saved myself so much time. Yes, it was uncomfortable for me to get out there and put myself out there, but I'm so much more rewarded for the fact that I now have actually identified my positioning in the market, how I want to message myself. You know, I want to say that I'm an SAT tutor and that I scored 1,600. And hey, it actually seems like people really like the idea that I'm a chemical engineer. Maybe that's something that I should push more in my own marketing. I spill water on myself. So the core reason of getting immediate validation is because it gives you so much real life data that is no longer based on the assumptions in your head. One key thing we need to know as business owners is that it's not about us. It's not about what we think. It's about what the market thinks and what the market wants. So the only way for you to possibly understand the market is to actually go and meet the market and start having conversations. In having conversations, you will automatically get better at your marketing. You'll automatically get better about talking about yourself, pitching yourself, communicating your value as a tutor, and you'll automatically get better at your sales pitch, at handling pricing objections. And the reason why you're getting better at this is because you're doing it on the fly. You're learning, you're actually practicing, and you're implementing new skills in a real life scenario. Now, if you're someone who is feeling really unsure about how to communicate your pricing and the fact that you know that people out there are going to say things like, oh, you're too expensive, or do you do a discount? And you just have no idea how to handle that. I have a how to handle pricing objections document, which I mentioned earlier in this video, which if you haven't already, I'd love for you to download it because that gives you the common objections that people will say to you, like, oh, I have to think about it. Oh, I think this is too expensive. And inside it, I actually give you my script. So this is what you say, this is what they say. In response to what they say, this is what you say. And so that hopefully gives you more confidence to get out there, to start talking about your business and feel like it's okay for you to make mistakes. But the fact is that you're practicing and you're getting real life data to validate your business. And what's the other benefit that you will also have as a result of all of this? The fact that you're willing to put it yourself out there and be uncomfortable. It's the fact that you will get students in through the door sooner rather than later. I have had Tutor Boss clients who've gotten students within a day of them actually starting this word of mouth marketing strategy. So I know if it's happened for them that it can absolutely happen for you as well, especially if you've got that pricing objections handbook under your belt. Now, hopefully by this point in this video, you understand why it's important for you to get out there and start talking about your business. Now, I know that some of you are going to have fears, which is totally normal. Let's talk about reasons why, even if you understand this, even if you go, yep, Lisa, I can see why this has value, why even some of you are still not going to get out there and do the damn thing. The first common objections tutors have when they start out their business is that they're scared of being judged. They're scared of being judged by people they know, of people saying they might not have enough experience, of people saying, wait, hang on a minute, you're in college studying this, why are you suddenly going and doing tutoring? Or maybe their parents going, you should be focusing on your studies, not going out there and trying to make money or trying to do tutoring. Like, why aren't you focusing? Or you might have a husband or wife who thinks that you already work hard enough as it is. You're already a teacher who's working overtime, and they don't understand why you want to get out there and do even more work, even though you can see that tutoring is eventually the long-term vision you have for yourself so that you can actually quit teaching. Now, what I have noticed and what a lot of my clients have experienced is that that is all in your head. Remember what I said about assumptions versus real life data. When you get out there, and I know that you can only know this once you actually get out there. So you just have to take what I say as face value. People are a lot more supportive of you and your endeavors than you would think. Majority of people are super supportive. Majority of people are more than willing to actually spread word of mouth about you to others. So imagine this. You go out there and you talk to 10 people today. Imagine if those 10 people then talked to 10 other people in their own network. That automatically is 100 people that you have reached within the next 24 hours. That is more powerful than you could have accomplished in 24 hours than you setting up a website where, even if you set it up, how are you going to send traffic to it? You setting up a social media account from scratch, you're going to have to work to get those 100 followers. And that's, I promise you, is going to be so much harder than you doing word of mouth, where people for free are happy to spread word of mouth about you, especially if you've already built a good relationship with them. Now, for some of you, there may be one or two people who are really not supportive. And unfortunately, those people may be the people who are closest to you. And I've been there myself, where there was a point in time where my partner was not supportive of me and my endeavors, and he just did not understand. And it was only until I started finding success in my business that he finally came around. And it was the same thing with my mum. When I started tutoring, she was like, why did you quit pharmacy? Pharmacy is such a prestigious career. You get good money from it, although at that point in time, I was actually making more money through tutoring, so it made sense logically as to why I would do that. But she didn't understand that. And she was like, you've studied this for 5 years, pharmacy. Why would you let that go? And she didn't understand until I invited her to a workshop where I had 70 students attend, watching me teach them English. And it was finally then that she realized, wow, my daughter loves what she's doing. She is passionate about this and she's kind of good at it. And look at all these people who are here to support her and who want learning from her. So in that aspect, I think it's a commitment to yourself. It's a commitment of, I know that not everybody is going to support me, but do I believe in myself that I can make this work? And through my success and through my journey, I will be able to show them and eventually have them come around to support me. So that's what I have to say about if you're being scared of being judged. Now, the second common reason why people don't get out there and start their business within 24 hours is because they feel like they need to have their ducks in order. They feel like they need to have everything planned and everything needs to be perfect before they actually get out there and start talking about their business. So what does that mean? I've mentioned this throughout the video. It means things like, I feel like I need to have a business name. It needs to be the right name. It needs to sound right. It needs to feel right to me. And I need to test it with other people. I need to talk about the business name and get other people's opinions on it before I land on my business name. And then from there, I feel like I need to set up a logo. I need to make myself look professional. That's really important so that people will buy into my business. Okay. And then it's, all right, I've done that. Now I need to make sure that I have the curriculum knowledge and that by the time I start tutoring, I have all the information ready to go and I'm all primed. And so this mentality, this just keeps going. Like it's endless. And that's the problem. The perfectionist mentality is not going to get you far in business. In fact, it's not going to get you anywhere. It's only going to get you going around in circles. Because the reality is, and we all know this, things aren't perfect. Life is never perfect. And so how could we ever expect our own businesses to be perfect? I think there is this fake narrative that happens in the brain that because this is your baby, because this is something that you're creating, you have full control over it. But the reality is that business is an absolute chaotic mess every single day that you're in business. And as your business grows, it only gets more challenging. Things screw up all the time, left, right, and centers. You'll have unhappy customers. You'll have people who are overdue in paying you their fees. You'll have a tutor eventually when you hire tutors, you'll have them quit and you're like, oh, dang it. Like I just gave them 5 students. What do I do with these 5 students now? Like there's always going to be problems and it's never going to be perfect. And so the sooner you recognize that and the sooner you go, you know what? I understand that business isn't perfect. I understand that I'm not perfect. Have that self-compassion and to say to yourself, I am going to actually be comfortable with being uncomfortable. I'm going to be uncomfortable with stepping into the unknown. I'm uncomfortable with the fact that I don't know how these 10 people are going to respond to me, but I'm going to do this because I know that no matter what happens, I'm going to be proud of myself for putting myself out there, for starting my business in 24 hours and getting that immediate validation. Now, the other thing I'll say here is for anybody who feels like you need to study the curriculum or have lesson plans before you go out there and get your first student, you're doing it all wrong. You're flipping it upside down. The reality is that you should get out there, get your first student. And it's not like as soon as you get your first student, bam, you have to jump into a call with them. There's going to be time between when you land that first student to when you actually have that first session with them. And you can be in control of that. You can say, hey, why don't we start next week? And that gives you a week to actually go and figure out what you want to do in their first lesson with them. And the beauty of this is that rather than siloing yourself and making assumptions about what the student wants, you can actually ask your student and say, what is it that you're struggling on? And build a lesson plan that's relevant and helpful for them. And the beauty here is that because you're making it relevant for them, you actually improve your customer experience and they get to walk away going, damn, that tutor was amazing. They knew exactly what I was struggling with and they helped me with exactly what I needed. That was hella amazing. I'm going to go back to that tutor and I'm going to spread word of mouth about them. I'm going to tell all my friends about them. And if you're a tutor where you feel like you don't have enough experience to actually get started and start talking to people about your business, remember that everybody who starts anything always starts off with 0 experience. When I started, I had no tutoring experience, I had no teaching experience, and I wasn't even the best in my class when it came to English. But I got out there, I got my first student, and through practice, through implementation, through real life tutoring, I got better and I got so good that eventually teachers were buying my study guides to use in their classrooms across Australia and globally as well. So with all of these objections that are going on inside your head, the one question I want to ask yourself is, what are you going to do today that your you in 1 year's time is going to be thankful of? Is it that you're going to operate from a place of scarcity and because of that, you're not even going to be willing to get out there and try? You're too scared to fail. You're too scared of other people's judgment. You're too scared of being embarrassed. Or are you going to lean into that fear and recognize that that fear is always going to be with you when it comes to business? Even when you're hella successful in your tutoring business, You're going to face things that are going to challenge you and scare you every single day, and they're only going to get more and more complex. So for example, when I was running my tutoring business and we were making millions through it, I had a team of tutors. And with my team of tutors, there were some really scary moments. I had to let tutors go because they weren't a good fit. I had to increase my prices to over 200 students as opposed to just increasing my price with one student. Your fear is never going to leave you. It's a part of us as human beings. So the sooner you can embrace it and you can learn to lean into it and to lean into the discomfort, that is the new skill that you're truly building. The new skill is how resilient are you? How much grace will you have to actually move through the discomfort? It's not saying that we're going to get rid of the discomfort altogether. I'm not telling you, like, don't be scared. That's stupid. Like, why would you be scared? Being scared is so normal. It means that we're scared because something is new, because we're on the precipice of something different, something that we want to do for our lives that could be revolutionary and could literally change the trajectory of where we're at the moment. Now, having said that, if you're ready to lean into the discomfort, I want you to write down the word comfort in the comment section below, because I know then that you've watched all the way until the end of this long video, but that you've got all the value and all the content from it that is going to give you the push to start your tutoring business in the next 24 hours. No more excuses. You've absolutely got this. And it is not in my interest as a YouTuber to tell you to stop watching any video now, because essentially it's in my interest to try to get you to watch as many videos as possible, because that increases my watch time on YouTube. But I think out of interest for you, I want you to stop YouTube right now. I want you to get onto your phone or walk next door, and I just want you to start talking to people about your tutoring business. It's as simple as just saying, hey, how are you going? It's been a little while. How's your son going in school at the moment? I noticed you shared in your stories the other day that he's struggling in maths. Is there anything I can do to help? I'm actually offering tutoring services. Or it's a matter of going next door and speaking to your mom and saying, hey mom, I'm actually really keen to start tutoring. Do you know anybody who would be interested? Anybody in your mom's group who's got kids that are around my age that I can help? So click on this link as a tab and then come back to watching the ultimate guide to becoming an online tutor. Best of luck, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.